Hey friends, we're going to get into today's episode in just a minute, but of course we had actually pre-recorded today's episode. We've been trying to get caught up with all the things, and that was before my Papa Phil had passed away, and I just wanted to come on here and make sure that I say to everyone, thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your kind words, for all of the messages, for all of the posts that you've made, for all of the comments. Every single one has gone such a long way and has honestly just made me reflect so much about the life my grandpa lived. He is truly a legend, and I knew that, and I knew there was no one like him, but even more so now. I've never maybe never known someone who lived a life with the end in mind so intentionally every day. I mean, it's really weird how many videos and clips we have of him talking about death. It's actually crazy. But he lived like that. He lived with the end goal in mind. And because he was so aware that this world was not his home, he talked about it all the time, not just for his sake, not just for our sake, but for everyone to make sure they knew about Jesus and the hope that they could have too. And it's amazing seeing clips of him from like 40 years ago saying the same things that I would hear him saying, last year. And what a life of authenticity and what a life of just true belief and true faith. I was thinking back over the last couple months of just some times we got to spend, and it was probably, about 6 months ago. That's when the Alzheimer's, had really kicked in pretty heavily and things were getting pretty tough. And I remember telling my husband, we were watching Dynasty, and I was crying, just seeing Papa Phil back being as strong as he was and knowing kind of the state he was in. And I said, I wish I would have told him, just thank you for teaching me how to preach by the way he lived. I wish I would have told him, that's why I do what I do, because I saw you do it. I wish I would have said thank you. I wish I would have told him, thank you for teaching me the importance of baptism and all these different things. And Christian said, well, you can still tell him that. I was like, yeah, but what if he doesn't know who I am or remember? She said, it doesn't matter. You should tell him that. So that week we went out down to their land, and I actually go out there often to work on messages, just to be in the quiet woods. And I went out there and I worked on my passion message. This is in December. And then I'm like, hey, I'm going to go tell him. So I went over and I was like, hey, Papa Phil, I've been working on this message. I'm about to preach to 50,000 college students. And I just want to say thank you for teaching me how to not only preach, but how to live. And I just said, thank you for showing me the most authentic form of ministry I've ever seen in my life. And I said, I've been to Nashville, I've been to the different things, I've seen what the industry can create, but I'm so thankful to see such a pure ministry in our home. And I just want to thank you for that. And for the baptisms you did in our house, for the ways that you preach the gospel to every person. And he was so sweet, and he started telling me the story about this fisherman that came to his house years and years ago. And Mama Kay remembered, she piped in, she said, that was the stinkiest man I've ever smelt in my life. He smelled like fish. I didn't want him in my house. And she said, but Phil didn't see him the way I saw him. I saw a stinky man, and Phil saw a lost soul. And Papa Phil said, that's right. And he said, Sadie, I've had the richest of people and the poorest of people come here, and I treat them all the same. And I think that stuck with me. It's going to continue to stick with me. That's just how he lived his life. It didn't matter who it was, where he was going to preach the same message because he so wholeheartedly believed in the gospel of Jesus Christ, because he had been transformed by it. And sitting with him just the other day as he was transitioning into heaven, I just thought, man, he has already experienced dead to life in real life when he was in his 20s. He went from dead to life. He became a new creation. And now he's going to do it again in fullness. And to think about a man who never had a cell phone, never had a computer, lived in the middle of nowhere in a very small house, literally touched the lives of millions of people is beyond me. It's only God. And I've learned so much from his life. Just even in that, I think about how, man, so many of us think we have to strive to do the things God's called us to do. I think the thing that God's looking for is a pure heart. And I know he found that in Papa Phil. Reminds me of people like David in the Bible. And so I'm just so thankful for his legacy. I'm so thankful that I can walk in it. I'm so thankful that you all can walk in it, just living authentic lives, simple lives for the gospel of Jesus. So again, thank you so much. And what crazy timing that he would pass the Sunday before our new show airs this Sunday, the revival. It's really actually crazy. And we truly feel God's presence so near to us during this time. It was our 1 week we've actually had off filming in months. So we are just thankful for this time with family. But I had to come in and just say thank you for all the messages, for all the words, for all the love. And we'll get to today's episode. But thank you very much. What is up? Well, that's good, fam. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you're having a good week, but it's about to get so much better. And it really is about to get so much better because this week, our new show, Dynasty, The Revival, airs for the first time, premieres, I guess, on A&E this Sunday, 8 o'clock Central. And we want to make sure you are watching. We have been working on this as a family for a while now and are just super excited to get to share it with all of you. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the show. We actually asked you guys to send in all your questions that you have circling around the show, and y'all sent in some really good ones. So I have your two favorites and my two favorites, Christian and Case Swag, on the pod today.
Hey.
Happy to be on it.
Yes,
It's
so happy to be here.
week.
Premiere week. We're planning a big party, a big watch party. Hope you are too. Hope you need to tag us in your watch parties.
Oh my gosh, good idea.
Is that a thing?
It should be.
Yeah.
It needs to be a thing.
It needs to be a thing. Everybody get your watch party together. Text your people right now. And that's your plan Sunday night.
But when you do the watch party, each one have it individually on your phones.
Yeah, we need the streamings.
We need the numbers.
We need those numbers. Just put it on your phone, put your phones aside, and also have it on the TV. Well, we're super excited. We can't believe that this week is finally here. I guess we can believe it because, we've been filming since December, and here we are.
Really, before that?
Yeah, actually, in the
did
fall,
a few things in the fall. Yes.
Yes, as you will see on the show. Super exciting. And super pumped that we're finally here. We're still filming right now for season 2, which is very exciting. And so we're kind of still in the thick of it, but we got a lot of fun questions that we're going to go through. Okay, let's just start with the tea. Is it hard filming with family or is it fun? Ooh.
Depends on what day you ask that question. No, I think it's fun. Everybody has fun doing it. I think it's fun for everybody. We all love it. Even the kids, the grandkids. At first, were funny about they didn't want to put their mic. So obviously, we're filming, so we're wearing microphones whenever we're filming. And we were trying to put the microphones on the kids, and they were a little resistant. Because they didn't know, what is this? What are we doing? So we had to pay them $1 every time at first. But now we don't even have to pay them the $1 because they just love it. They get so excited to film because they're with their cousins, which is what they want to do anyway, is just play with their cousins.
They like the mics now. They think it's cool. Haven's like... She literally went up to Derek the other day, the sound man, and she was like, I want a microphone. And he's like, you want a microphone? Yeah, I want a microphone. Which we've been giving her fake microphones. We'll give her the TV remote and be like, it's your microphone. And that way she doesn't have to wear one, or she just doesn't need to wear one because she will end up throwing that thing in the toilet or something. And so finally we put it on her and she's like, no microphone. And then she was
so proud when I got there though to tell me. She was like, I have a mic. And I was like, you have a mic? Okay.
And then she kept it on all day. She was so funny about it. Last night, this literally happened last night. Honey was changing out of her T-ball outfit, and she goes, wait, do you have a microphone on? I was like, no, you don't have a microphone on. It's so funny.
That's funny. We have been filming a lot, so they do just kind of become part of us, and you kind of forget that you have a microphone on, of course, because it's just stuck to your shirt. And so,
which does keep you accountable.
Sometimes, sometimes you do forget.
Yeah, sometimes you'll be talking, you're like, I have a microphone on, and that is just
or you have to go to the bathroom, and you're like,
oh yeah, I always hold it down. I'm like, hopefully that muffles
turn mine off or something. I'm like, well, whatever, they've heard.
They're used to it now.
Yeah.
Well, and Derek was actually our sound guy from the original Dynasty.
Yes.
So we've known Derek since I was literally 15 or 16.
He's probably heard a lot of us.
He has. He's very gracious. Oh, can I say it? I'm not even supposed to know this because Mom told me. Oh, no.
What?
That Derek mentioned to you that you smack.
Oh.
No, we had a sort of bit of a tiff. We were filming, and I put in.
I know what I was supposed to say. It just came out.
Well, we were filming. It was the house with the kids, and I was eating. I put it was like a pineapple. I think I was eating a pineapple. And you know, Brad Pitt always eats in every single scene. So it wasn't.
In your head.
I was not in my.
To be
no,
Brad
I wasn't.
Pitt.
I was like, if Brad Pitt can do it, I'm just eating a pineapple off to the side. I'm not even into the scene really. And then he was like, wait, hold up. Christian, the chewing. But it was like it kind of came across kind of rude, and we paused what we were doing, and I was like, Derek, are you like mad at me? Because like you seem kind of mad at me. He said, no, sorry, buddy.
Aww.
But the film, the chewing is just it was too much. So I guess Brad Pitt, when he chews, it's a little more gracious.
You're like, Derek, I'm being Brad Pitt right now. I don't understand the mix-up.
Then he politely told me that I was not Brad Pitt. So
well, you know what's really funny?
I guess I really do smack when I chew. So
oh my gosh,
funny.
He's confirming what I've said for 5 years.
I admit I have a deviated septum. I've said that for years. That's why I can't breathe through my nose.
I heard you were chewing and talking at the same time. It wasn't just chewing.
I might have been, but you see it done all the time. So I was like, it's a normal thing for people to chew and eat.
It is really hard though, because we do film a lot while we're eating. Like the first Dynasty, we're having a dinner scene, and in this one, you know, we have meals together, and they're filming them. And so I have seen myself chewing and talking in scene, and it's not pretty always, you know? It's just part of it.
Actually, in the first episode, I'm like standing beside Dad, and while he's talking, and I like have something in my teeth, and I kept like getting it out, and I'm like, oh, that is terrible, and it just like keeps being shown. Like it's like every time they come back to me, I'm still doing it, and I'm like, okay,
cleaning the teeth.
Can we zoom in a little tighter on Dad?
There's always that like balance of like, should I just do that and clean my teeth? But that looks worse than just
you can see
I just let there be something in my teeth. But you're the only one that the sound guys actually commented on.
Yes.
He does not know I have a deviated septum.
He doesn't.
He does now.
You have a deviated septum, and you also have a bruise on your nose right now. Are we going to address that?
Yes, we are going to address
because
that.
of something that we were filming this past week.
That was going to lead me to my next question. Has anything gone wrong and been funny while you've been filming, Christian?
So I have a bruise on my nose and a...
Show your shoulder.
Well, that's going to give something away.
Well,
it's not going to give anything
It gives away that there's some physical comedy
I filmed something this
happening.
week, and I really screwed up my shoulder.
Something went wrong, and Christian's
Potentially
nose
dislocated
is like bruised. His shoulder is potentially dislocated, and he has bruises all up his arm.
And you should see the other guy. The other guy has a couple bruises too.
Yeah.
And the other guy may or may not be Jacob.
Yeah.
It was a fun sequence that we got to do together.
Has anything else gone wrong filming besides your injuries?
Plenty of things, yeah.
So besides your shoulder and your nose and your arm going wrong, I'm trying to think of anything else that's gone wrong. Well, I mean, filming with kids is crazy. Like our kids range in the age of, how old is Xander? I mean,
6 months.
6 months to 6.
We started this when he was first born, like literally,
so
he was born on episode 1. So
literally like baby
his whole life
to
has been
Zane being
filming.
6. And so that's just a crazy age. And there's
unpredictable.
8 of them. I'm trying
8 now, and one more
count.
coming. We'll be at 9.
8 grandkids under the age of 6 that we're always like, filming with. And so I feel like if anything like goes wrong, it's normally like someone's having a meltdown. Someone is being crazy, screaming, this, that, the other. But that's just fun too.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Well, other than my shoulder and our gender reveal episode, yeah, there's been a couple things that have
That's
gone
a
wrong.
tease. We can't tell anything about
No,
that.
I'm not.
But
I'm just
know. No, I'm just saying, just know you do not want to miss
The
the gender reveal episode.
I do not.
So someone actually asked, what episode are you most excited for people to see? And I was going to say the gender reveal episode. I can't wait to see that episode. We haven't seen anything from that episode yet. Like we haven't gotten back any edits. And I cannot wait because that whole thing was just so funny and so sweet. And then someone also asked the question, has it been hard to keep the gender of the baby a secret? Yes, it has been very hard to keep the gender of the baby a secret. And actually, when we filmed it, we thought it was going to be earlier on in the season that it was going to air, just based off kind of the timeline. But it ended up being such a good episode that they pushed it back to further in the season. So it's like now I have to wait even longer to share the gender.
I know that's tough for you. Sadie
really
loves to
is.
tell everything. So the fact that she's holding this is a big secret for you to hold. You're doing good. I'm proud of you.
The only way I can hold secrets is if I know like the surprise is going to be worth it, you know? And that's what's keeping me like trying really hard to keep this a secret because the episode is so funny. Like what happened in real life is so funny that I'm like, I really want people to... You
can't make it up.
You cannot make it up. I really want people to like see it real time and not know the whole time what the gender is until the end because it's so funny.
Yeah. I feel like, some things you do where it's like that if someone sees it, they're going to think we scripted that or made that up. But it's like, no, you cannot make that up. Like that truly is exactly how it happened. And
if we did script it, that would have been the funniest scripting. Like we would have been like, this is going to be so funny, but there's no way we could have acted it out like that. Just the authenticity to real life. And we're going to have to do an episode recap when that comes out because I cannot wait to share what I was thinking in the moment, what you were thinking. Like we all had very different reactions to what happened. And it actually doesn't have anything to do with like the gender of the baby.
Right, yeah.
It's what happened. It's like a gender reveal fail. It is a gender reveal fail. And I love watching people's gender reveal fails. And now I get to be one of them.
You get to be one of them?
You are the main star of the gender reveal fail. All right, y'all know I'm all about being proactive when it comes to my health, not just waiting around for something to go wrong, and that's why I'm so thankful for Function Health. Function is this amazing all-in-one health platform with over 100 advanced lab tests that check in on your entire body. That's 5 times more than your average physical. It's super comprehensive and looks at all of the critical biomarkers. I actually chose Function because it's the best in the world for testing. Plus, they offer testing twice a year, which is huge for staying on top of your health game. It's super easy to use and available across the US so that you can do it wherever you are, even if you got a crazy schedule. The first test gives you a full baseline of where your health is, then you can compare your results over time to actually track how things are changing. As we head into summer, Function is celebrating what they call their Long Live campaign. It's all about honoring those little everyday moments that make life worth staying healthy for. For me, long live dancing in the kitchen with my girls, long live feeling strong in my body, and long live chasing goals and little feet at the same time. Christian and I both feel it's super important to try to stay as healthy as we can, especially just to raise the family that we have. And, we're watching people in our family older than us experience some tough health things. So we just want to stay on top of everything, and that's why we love stuff like this. In the spirit of long live and taking control of your health, get a $100 credit towards your annual membership at functionhealth.com/whoa. This $100 credit is only for the first 1,000 listeners, so sign up at functionhealth.com/whoa. What episodes are y'all most excited for people to see?
Yeah, I think that one's really, I'm really excited about that one. I'm guessing I'm allowed to talk about the pickleball one. I think that one's a funny one. Yeah, we do a brother-in-law pickleball competition together, which is I think that one's a lot of fun. And then there's one episode where I get thrown under the bus for saying that I don't think pregnancy is maybe the hardest thing. Which
Go ahead. Say what you said.
Yeah.
So I've learned
You said it.
What did I say?
You're like, I don't think it's that much harder, like, to be pregnant. Why would it be harder for you pregnant than me, like, not pregnant? You made a comment like that when we were playing basketball. We were playing
I don't think it was that blunt.
like basketball, and I beat you.
Yeah,
and you were like, and then Jacob was like, "You're pregnant. Why I beat you?" And then you're like, "Well, why does it matter that she's pregnant?
Yes.
Like, it's not that hard."
So we do this. I learned my lesson in one episode
words.
that pregnancy is a lot harder.
That one I'm really excited about.
Yeah, that's gonna be
that one
good.
is so funny.
I'll probably face some repercussions.
So
but
the pickleball episode was really funny too because I just remember after the pickleball, like probably 5 people in our family came up to me being like, Sadie, like Christian's really mad. Like we might want to see the edits. We might have to cut some things out because it might make him look really bad.
I think everybody knows that Christian's competitive. So, I mean,
were
it's
worried.
just out there. Yeah, I was. I was like, Christian, like, I mean, you know how Christian can be
But I was
whenever he
just-
loses.
But I was just
And-
like that's the tough part. I was just acting the whole.
right.
Yeah, right.
I was just.
It's like, and I saw the cameras and
Yeah.
I just came
were just-
alive.
What's gonna make a good episode?
Yeah.
How mad can I
Me
get?
losing it. Yeah, right.
yeah, you wish.
Wish
Well,
you could act that
we
well.
can't give away who wins though. So
No, we can't.
I know.
maybe I just win very disgracefully.
Maybe.
Maybe you had losing
Maybe I'm a sore
moments.
winner.
You're a sore winner.
That is so funny. Okay, speaking of I'm just acting, someone said, is any of it scripted or is this all purely real life? And Mom, I love how you kind of describe what reality TV looks like to film it.
Yeah, I think like Dad always says, like true reality TV would be hidden cameras because you don't know anything. It's just hidden cameras all the time, which then it would be like, thousands and thousands of hours to edit to come together. So this is more like we know that we're going to do something. Obviously, we know the cameras are here. We put on our microphones, all that kind of thing. But it's like however we do. It's like improv, I guess.
It's kind of improv.
It's your job to
and
fill in
it's
the
like-
blanks. Yeah.
I feel it's like who you are level 10. It's what
Yeah.
you do level 10. It's like everything's just cranked up a little bit,
Yeah.
which I think is natural for camera.
All the stuff we do. Yeah, it's all the stuff we do normally anyway. It's just like you have to plan it out to know when the cameras are going to be here. So I always think of it like this. It's like you plan to go to lunch with somebody this week. You text your friend like, hey, let's go to lunch on Thursday. And in doing that, you're like, oh, we want to talk about this. We need to catch up on these things or whatever. So you know that you're going to go to lunch with your friend on Thursday at 12. You know that you're going to catch up on certain things, but you don't know how the conversation is going to go. It's still real in the moment, And so that's kind of how it is. Like we're like, oh, we know we're going to have a party, or we know the guys are going to play pickleball. Or we don't know who's going to win. We know. We have an assumption of who might win, but we don't know.
Yeah.
No, we have
Assumption of who usually wins.
So you have you're like, oh, we're gonna have a meeting, an office meeting, which that's a fun part of this new season. That is kind of like a new element to this show that wasn't around when Dynasty. We have office meetings, and so a lot of our employees and people we work with are on the show, and so you're gonna have a inner office meeting, and we know we're going to talk about some things about the office, but you don't know what everybody's going to say. You don't know what elements are going to happen in those moments. So
Yeah, that's so true.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes so much sense. I think like there's so many different types of reality TV. And I was reading about this the other day, how it's like, yes, it is, a reality, but it's also entertainment,
Yeah.
So it's like meant to be entertaining, there are funny things that like story ideas that we're like, oh, we should do this because we've done this before and let's film that, So there's like fun things like that. But it's you are who you are. So your reactions are what they are. No one's like, oh, you have to win this or you have to lose this. It's like, no, whoever wins, whoever loses. Like there's that reality to it. So I love that people are asking that question, and it's been super, super fun. To film all this stuff as a family. And to the question of is it fun or hard, I actually think it's just really fun. There's been like hard moments, but not really like filming days. I think filming days are pretty much fun, and we have a lot of good times.
It's hard to be in production.
Yeah, that's the
because
hard part.
That's the hard
I was like, how do I say
when
this?
we film together, that's fun. But to be in production for extended period of time, like we've been in for more than 6 months now.
That's hard.
Because you're trying to live your own life. I always think about it like this. It's like certain shows, like you go away for like American Idol or Survivor, like that's all you're doing is that one thing. But when cameras come into your house and your office, your space, it's different because it's like we are living our own lives and doing all of these things, plus adding an element of production and cameras and, a film crew and all these things to it. So it's like in addition to your life where certain things, like if you're going away to film a movie or something like that,
That's
that
what
you're
you're
acting in, you're there on set to just do that. But in this way, it's like an addition, and it can cause a lot of stress. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like, I feel like it is good accountability as a family. 'Cause I feel like there's probably not many families that day in, day out can just be together all the time without having, whether it's arguments or things like that. Because in real life stuff, when you're not doing kind of what we're doing, you might be like, I'm not going to talk to so-and-so for a couple days, or I need some space. But it's like, tonight you're with them all night, So you do have to get over things quicker and have conversations that you do keep you accountable. And you learn to forgive quicker and move on past things.
Yeah.
Versus,
Me and Christian were laughing the other day because me and Dad had a little tiff recently, and I was like, like I don't want to see him tomorrow. And I said, by the grace of God, it was his birthday. I had to text him, and then we filmed together. So it's like, that's just reality. And so families are gonna have your things, and what you want to do is like retreat whenever you're mad at somebody. But there's actually been a huge blessing in like not being able to do that, like getting back in it.
Yeah.
And you move past things, and it's more like what you did when you were siblings and you were young,
I think that's really sweet. And that's kind of like, I've said that before about the first time around with Duck Dynasty. It's kind of a lot of the message of the show. It's like, yes, we can fuss and fight and we can have all these like stressors or whatever happen in our day. But at the end of the day, we come around together as a family and have a meal and thank God for what's in front of us. And I think that was kind of that special little magic of what the show was, and a reminder to families of like, hey, whatever you're going through, whatever is happening, like it's not worth like separating the family. So come together around the table before God, be grateful for what's in front of you, and forgive quickly. And so I think that that's a really good message. And I say that a lot of times, like, I think living in a big family, you are forced to learn that, especially living in a big family like ours where we do a lot together. It's like you're forced to like understand differences and be good with people's differences. Understand you're not all going to agree on everything. You're going to think differently. You're going to fuss and fight about this or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're family, where if you take that on like a bigger scale of like our world or our like community or our country, it's like, hey, like we can also love each other and come together even if we think differently or disagree. And this is kind of like a little microcosm of that. And so hopefully our show does show that and kind of like help people live that out in their life too.
Yep. And like being okay with each other's differences, and that we're creating a show together and we have different visions for what it should be or what it should look like.
Yeah.
And like all of those different visions merged into being what it became.
Yes.
Which is really cool because like I wanted it to be a certain way, y'all wanted it to be a certain way, Jolene wanted it to be a certain way, Rebecca and Jari wanted it to be a certain way, but like, everyone had like their vision for what this was going to look like, and it couldn't have been anybody's full vision. It took everyone
better.
It makes it a lot better.
Yes.
And even people ask like, what is your relationship like with the film crew? I feel like that's been something that's new for them too, is that collaboration, because they have said like in a lot of other reality shows that they've done, they come in and it's their vision, and they direct that vision and produce that vision. And for our family, because we have done this before and we have established something, but also this is a new generation, so we're creating something, we have a lot of say in like what we want it to feel like, what we want it to be like, what we want it to be perceived as and received as, I guess I should say. And they have been really good about that collaboration. But collaboration's hard. And there's give and take in that.
Yeah. So. It's a big, like when you see, I always say this, after we did The Blind, you see that scroll of names at the end, you have a whole different perspective of it. Or when when you've done a TV show, you see at the end that scroll and list of all the people involved. It's like, it takes a lot of people to pull off something like this. And it's like, from the editors to the people, and then people all over the country, like the world, actually. One of our EPs lives in Greece. And so I was on the phone with him this morning. It's like people all over the world kind of coming together to do something, which is the beauty of it. And what I think creates something great, but also is the challenge of it. It's not just one person's vision, but that's what makes something really special.
Yeah. You know those hot summer days where you're just living your best life out there? Well, hydration matters big time, especially if you're sweating in the sun or chasing kids around through the sprinklers. Element's new lemonade salt is the summer's MVP. It is tart, salty, and super refreshing, and I seriously feel like I'm leveling up my hydration game every time I mix it up. Dehydration used to sneak up on me all the time, causing headaches, brain fog, leg cramps, all the things, feeling zapped in the middle of the day. But with Element in my corner, I can stay ahead of all that. The new seasonal lemonade salt is great mixed with water and thrown into the cooler for a refreshing sip on the beach, or try being a little extra with it and tossing it with some fresh fruit. Salty lemonade pitcher for the win. Come on, y'all. And hey, it's totally risk-free to try it. If you don't love it as much as I do, just pass it along to a salty friend. Element will actually refund your order, no questions asked. I love Element because honestly, I see benefits like so fast. I have leg cramps so bad during pregnancy, and if I don't drink an Element, they're coming. So Element is definitely my go-to. The lemonade salt is also available for a limited time only, so go ahead and get yours while supplies last. This is a flavor you're going to want to try. You can also get your free Element sample pack with any purchase at drinkelement.com/whoa. That way you can see which one you like the best. Again, that's drinkelement, DRINKLMNT.com/whoa. Y'all go check it out today. Someone did ask about like what the biggest adjustment has been to filming and what our typical days look like. That is such a loaded question, I feel like. I can go first for me. My life has changed so much this year. It has definitely been a huge adjustment and something that I kind of struggle with more than I thought I was going to, just because I didn't realize how kind of established I had become in my routine until my routine got shaken up. And, you know, I've shared this on the podcast before. We even had Pete Richardson come on the podcast, and Pete and I and Christian met years ago after having Honey. He helped me establish like a healthy schedule for our family. And so I worked, 4 days a week, had my Fridays off with our family. And that was kind of my thing. And, whenever I was at work, I was at work. When I was at home, I'm at home, like kind of had a good separation of that. Then when we started filming, it kind of all got thrown off a little bit because we film Monday through Thursday. Generally.
Unless something's happened on the weekend that they want to film.
Unless something's happened on the weekend. And then the only days I have to actually do my work, which would be like podcasting, any writing, any meetings I have, anything is now on Friday. So what used to be like my day off is now like my busiest day in the office. And so now to keep up with the weekly podcast, it's like 3 podcasts every Friday with all the ads, to keep up with all the ads for the podcast, which is, a lot. And then any meetings I have with anyone has to be Friday as well. And then
doctor's appointments. It's hard
and then
just
also
do
you have
anything.
to do any hair appointment, any doctor's appointment, anything. So I had actually gotten Invisalign right before the show started, and I had to get it off a month in because I was like, I can't make any of my appointments. And then my doctor has been like the best doctor in the world because he's like actually been able to see me on Fridays, which he normally doesn't do, just because I don't have another day. When you're pregnant, you always have to go to the doctor a lot. And so then my hair, thankfully, I actually just kind of waited it out this time. And then I had an amazing hairdresser who also kind of got me in. But it's definitely like a huge adjustment. And we had to hire new people to kind of make sure that everything was going to run smoothly. I hired a CEO who's one of my mom's best friends. She's amazing. But yeah, it's been a huge adjustment. And people have like asked how the spouses have done with the adjustment. And I want Christian, you to kind of go next with your adjustment. But what's been interesting is when we started talking about doing a show, we focused so much on how you were going to handle it because it was going to be new for you. And it was like, make sure you're good, you feel confident, all this stuff. And we didn't really talk about me because I'm like, I've done this before. And then 2 months in, I'm like, I think I'm struggling more than you. He's like, yeah, you are. And I'm like, because I didn't realize how much my life, like my day-to-day was going to change. But in that, there's been so many sweet things too, because I've gotten to like film with the kids so much. So I've gotten to be home more. I've gotten to do so many fun things with our family, and no day looks the same. Some days we'll be filming, if we have something we're shooting that's like going to take till 9 p.m. and it's all day. And then some days it's like 30 minutes. Let's just film this this little thing that we wanted to do. And so every day is so different. You just don't know what your day is going to look like because we don't get our film schedule until the night before. That's the hardest part is you can't so say, oh, I happen to not be filming Tuesday. Oh, well, maybe I could have done a doctor's appointment, but I didn't know I wasn't going to be filming until Monday night. So
because we talk about the week before what's going to happen the next week. And then we kind of talk through like, oh, this is happening this day. This is this day. So what does the film crew want to cover and when? And so it's loose, but you don't, but there's so many of us. Yeah. You don't really know until the night before what they're actually going to cover on that next day and what their timeline is and everything. So yeah, it's a lot.
And then, we were like, let's play T-ball this year. That was crazy because it's like, okay, well, y'all are filming this morning with the kids. And then this afternoon, Christian's filming here and Sadie's filming here. And the kids are with Sadie. And then, and Honey has a T-ball game. So we're going to pause real fast and go play T-ball. And then we're going to come back and we're going to finish out what we were doing. And so there's so much life adjustment, and that's just kind of part of it. And I think that there's been super fun things and really hard things, and that, like you said, like production is the hard thing. The filming is not necessarily hard. What we film is fun. Getting to be together as a family is fun. It's just tiring after 6 months of the logistics of keeping up with it. Well, and Fridays being so wild.
Whenever we first started with Duck Dynasty, which that was like 2012, I said, I didn't realize I had issues with patience and control until I started filming. And I was like, well, yeah, because like you realize, you're not really in control because it is such a big team. There are so many aspects and so many things happen. So no one person can be in control. And then also patience. You got to be patient and wait on, you don't know till last minute maybe what's going to happen the next day or whatever. And so it teaches you some things about yourself. Yeah.
Oh, I have
Or sitting with a 4-year-old in the dugout who doesn't want to play T-ball.
Patience and control.
Patience and control. Which I'm usually great at those two things. So
Christian, what's the adjustment been like for you?
Yeah, well, I think too, kind of what you just talked about helping me through the whole filming thing. I think the thing that because obviously I think the biggest adjustment will probably be just backlash on like a bigger scale versus like kind of what we go through now. So like filming for me hasn't been the biggest, like prepping.
This is not necessarily the hard part for you. You're more worried about like
how things get perceived and kind of things like that. But yeah, you really just hit on the stuff of, I think the biggest adjustment's just kind of been the ambiguity of what your days are. Cause it's like you could be filming for 8 hours or it could be an hour or 30 minutes, So there's really, but you have to prepare for the following day as if it's going to be all day. Or it could just be 2 hours. So you can't plan anything. So yeah, I think that's been the biggest adjustment is like, just having an open schedule.
That's true. Most of what we talked about for you and what we assume would be more hard would be that social media side of things, backlash side of things.
Which hasn't gotten there yet.
And that was the thing I felt more confident in because I feel like I faced that the first time, overcame that. But I wasn't thinking about like the actual production. I was thinking about when the show comes out. I'm like, but you film it.
You film it first.
It's
like writing a book. You got to write it first. Yeah.
Yes. What about you, Mom?
I think that is what I've been trying to kind of prepare everyone for too, is like when the show comes out. Because like, I actually wrote about this on Instagram the other day about how it's like there's going to be great comments. Like a lot of people are going to love the show, but there's also going to be people who don't love it. There's going to be, sometimes it's like there's haters and there's people who are like just going to be hateful anyway. But also some people are just like genuinely like, I don't think this one is good as last one. People are going to say that and they're going to think that and they're going to have opinions on. They're going to have opinions on who they like better or whatever. I remember there was a season where it was like Team Jace or Team Willie. I'm like, can we just like them both? And so like that is just going to happen. It's part of the territory. And so, trying to kind of prepare everybody's hearts for that and to know. And like those of us who have kind of been through it before, we're like, okay, we know.
Yeah.
But for all the like in-laws and stuff like that, it's like, okay, that are new to it, like, okay, just know, gonna get the comments, and try not to let it affect you. Willie is like from day one, he's like, I don't read the comments. Do not send me anything. Where like I would read all the comments or the reviews or things like that. And Willie's like, I really don't want to know. Like, I don't want it to affect how I act or how I am. I want to just be true to me and what I think is right, and I don't want to be swayed by other people's opinions of it. So he's like hard and fast. I do not read it.
And he encourages y'all not to. He told all the guys, he's like, don't be on social media. Like, don't read the comments, you know, because it is hard sometimes to get that, especially because, you know, you work so hard for something, and it's also your life. It's also who you are. So when people say something, it's not like a movie, you're just bad acting. It's like, it's personal. You know, it's like, oh, like, that's my family. You know, that's my life.
Whoa, that's good, or whoa, that's bad. Haters are my motivators.
It could be either. That could be both ways. Yeah. That's one that could be both ways.
I think that could be both ways, but I just don't actually think haters are my motivators.
Yeah, I'm never motivated by someone that
haters are not on my like list.
I'm always discouraged.
But I will say, haters are not like on my list of priorities to worry about.
Right.
Like, they're not. Like, I'm not doing anything for my haters.
I'm not bothered by them. Yeah,
it's just the way you said that. No, I'm never thinking about that either. No.
Yeah, I'm not like not posting something because someone's gonna hate it, or posting something because I'm like, they're gonna be what they're gonna be, and they're gonna say what they're
can't control their outcome. I can only control myself and what I do. That was our life lesson when y'all were little. I was like, nobody makes you do anything. You can only control yourself.
Yes.
So
I am motivated by love.
I actually think it's probably where that's bad, because actually God actually created us to be motivated by encouragement and by love. And
well, I think if you do, I think if you motivate out of hatred, I think you're doing things in spite of something. So that's just my opinion.
Have you gotten a chance to see new sides of your family you didn't know were there? I was going to say, one thing I've seen about you, Christian, that I think like I did know was there, but I didn't realize it was going to translate to this, which is really cool. So like, you know, a lot of people kind of can perceive you as like being more quiet and stuff because you're not going to be like the loudest guy in a room. But when you're with your friends, you're like so funny. And whenever you're with me, you're so funny. And I did not expect to see you be so confident in who you are with the film crew. Like, you are so funny with them. They love you. Like, every person on the film crew loves you and loves to film with you because you always are making everybody laugh, and you have like inside jokes with all the producers. And that's been something really cool to see about you, like, thrive in this, because again, like, I was nervous about how you were gonna like people being in our house, because sometimes you don't always like people in our house. You're more introverted, but you've actually like loved it. And it's the side of you I see when you're like with your close friends or when you're just with me. I feel like you're like the healthiest in those spaces, which is really cool.
Well, thank you. That's very sweet.
Yeah, I would agree. You're so fun. You've been so fun on the show and so funny. And I think one thing that is a trait of yours that people may not realize that you have, but people who watch you on this may know, but that you'll see on the show is like that. This is a trait that like our family says is like one of our number one traits. And I'm so thankful that you have it, is being able to laugh at yourself. Like, don't take yourself too seriously. Like, Christian is able to just like make, you know, have fun in the moment and not be like, not overthink it. Just have fun in the moment and laugh at yourself and make fun of yourself in ways like, you know, like.
Well, thank you. That's very encouraging.
With the pregnancy, him kind of making that comment about my pregnancy, it was really funny because I'm like, babe, you're going to get flamed by the world. Like, you cannot say that, you know, on TV. But then like you made it funny. Like, I thought it was funny, but I was like, oh, but you can't say that because people aren't going to know you're kidding. But I like how you are like, no, you know I'm kidding. I know I'm kidding. Like, and this is funny, you know, like you like let yourself go like more loose with things. Whereas I'm like, oh, like, what are people going to think about you acting that way? And you're like, it's okay. Like, we know, you know.
I think it's normal for like your husband, like whenever the show first started and Dad was like the CEO, so he was the boss, so he always was kind of like the bad guy, you know. He was like the fun sucker. He walked in the room and like all the fun had to stop, and I was like, oh no, people aren't going to see your funny side. Like, you know, for your husband, you want people to see,
like, know that they're funny.
Like, yes, but it was like, that was, you know, part of like his role as the CEO of the company, actually to keep the company running. But I felt like that was the only side of him people were seeing, and I was like, no. And I remember they made like they you know, they had all this Duck Dynasty merch at the time, and they made these stickers, and it was like Jace was holding the frog, and Phil was like holding ducks, whatever, and Dad was like holding money. And I was like, no, people are going to think you're like greedy or whatever, you know? And it's like, people can say anything about me. I don't care. You could, like you said, the haters do not bother me at all. They can say anything about me. But when they said it about Dad, I'd be like, want to come to his defense. Yes.
That's how I am. I've been like that already, like on our podcast. But I feel like, especially with the show, I'm like, no. But then I'm like glad that you feel confident enough in who you are to like play yourself, to be yourself. And it's really funny.
Thank you. Because I think there is that, like, being cognizant of, like, we are in a thing right now that is, it seems temporary to where it's like, at least right now, all we know that it's just 2 seasons. So it's like, the retrospect, I don't want to look back and be like, man, I wish I would have, had more fun with it or tried harder.
Yeah.
But we could look up and it's, 5 seasons. Like this is the next 10 years. Or it's like, well, that was a fun 8 months, So it's like, I think trying to just be in that moment of, this is a blessing, this is fun, trying to just live in it and not, I don't want to look back and be like, man, I wish I would have cared less about what people were going to think, or I wish I would have tried to be funny, like, whatever. So
that's a word.
That's a word.
Good.
Go, babe. Come on, we need to send this to the family. That's good.
Really good.
Yeah, because it's like,
so true.
It could be the next several years, or it literally just could be like, this was 8 months of our life.
That's another weird part about production and television is like, you have to hold it so loosely because you're like, we could be done after 2 seasons. You don't know if they're going to pick it back up. If people are going to watch, or people are going to like it. Of course,
we're hoping that it gets picked back up.
Yeah, we're hoping.
Telling all you people that listen.
That's right. We're hoping we keep going. But you do have to just kind of like take it for what it is, enjoy the moment. And another way you don't have control.
Christian just went Virgin River.
That was not intentional.
That was Virgin River.
What was you, Virgin River?
So, you watch Virgin River?
Yeah.
Virgin River been doing this fine before you people showed up.
Yo, he just does this like mad, like it's like the townspeople in Virgin River.
They were so mad when they showed up.
You people to listen.
Virgin River was just fine before you people showed up around here.
I heard your Virgin River come out in a minute with your face and everything.
Well, I do just channel that kind of acting when I'm in a filming.
When you're in a
good.
Oh, Mom, what you're saying was good. Just the Virgin River got me.
No, that's
oh my gosh.
No, I was just saying, it's like, you got to hold it loosely, be grateful for what it is. And I think that's a good word. Have fun with it.
It's a really good
Sometimes
word.
You do look back on life, you're like, why didn't I just enjoy that moment more?
Yeah.
And just like live in it. And I think we can do that with anything in life, not just like film and television show, with like our kids at whatever age they are, or within, whatever you're doing, you're like, wait, that was a sweet moment. Why didn't I just appreciate it and enjoy it while I was there?
John Luke has been someone that surprised me a lot too, because over the years since Duck Dynasty, and I think he would be okay with me saying this, he's like questioned how much he loves the fact that people saw him at such a funny stage of his life. Like he was a teenager, the bumblebee tuna, the wisdom teeth.
That is a really good example of, we kind of remember the negative comments or whatever, which his comments weren't even that negative. I mean, they were definitely haters or whatever. But it's like, also his face was on girls' t-shirts and they were like, my boyfriend. Like he was loved. Like he was a lot of young girls' crush.
People were obsessed
and all
with
that.
Luke.
But then also he had the bumblebee tuna moment that people commented on for a long time. So
he was just really goofy, and he
was
is
all teenage
goofy.
years.
It was
Your
our
teenagers.
teenage years. Like I'm embarrassed that I was like annoyed all the time, and on my phone. Like that's embarrassing to me, and it's embarrassing to him that he's like so goofy. But like he's still that way. Like that is who he is, and so I've been proud of him for like embracing it and loving it and like not holding back because of the fear of what people are going to say, because he knows. I think that's what's been hard too, is like doing it the second time, so much, the first time you're a little bit more naive to things. So you're like, let's, which is good. I think you need that. Like sometimes like what is it, like ignorance is bliss, like you don't know what people are saying, so it's like great, but if you already have had all the negative comments, you kind of like know what
get in
people
your
are
head
gonna
if you're
say
not careful.
if you're not careful. And I'm just really proud of him that he hasn't let that stop him from truly being himself, because he has not held anything back, and he's hilarious
on this
Yeah.
he
show.
is so funny.
There's an episode where he's like hosting a birthday party, and it's
And
That's
it
one of
is
my favorites.
hilarious.
Every time
really
Christian like sees John Luke come on the screen when we were watching episodes, we just start laughing. Like you know it's gonna be
He's
funny.
So funny. And he and Cy have been like a pair. They're funny
Which
together.
a lot of people have asked about, is Uncle Cy gonna be on it? He's on it a lot, and he's funny. He is unhinged
Yes.
yeah,
in
he
the
hasn't skipped
best
a beat.
way.
Yesterday we saw too much of Uncle Cy.
Oh, way too much. Yeah, you can look.
That's
forward
for a
to
later
seeing that or
episode,
not
but
seeing that. I think that's season 2.
It's season 2.
That's
season
season
two.
2. Oh my gosh. Yes.
I know. Oh wow, so much. But yeah, John Luke's been awesome. He's been so funny. It's been fun to see him kind of thrive in that. There's something I was gonna say.
It's been fun to just see everybody's personalities come out. And like, we say like, I think on television, you're seeing kind of like one aspect of somebody a lot of times, because they only have, this case, we had 23 minutes for Duck Dynasty. This case, 43 minutes. It's an hour episode. So you're seeing a little bit more of everybody, but still it's kind of, one
short.
aspect of your life. It's short, which is why it's nice to have podcasts and books and stuff like that, to where you guys can kind of like know more of our lives. But it's just been really sweet and fun to see everybody's personalities just like come alive and emerge on the show in different ways. And even the kids, like their little personalities are just
So funny.
thriving on the show too. And it's been so cute to see.
That is kind of the bummer too of like getting the edits back, is because you know how funny the day was and like all the things that happened, and then it does have to get condensed into a short moment, and you're like, and it's kind of like writing a book, when, like you mentioned earlier, when you write a book, then you get your first run of edits back and it's like crushing. You're like, no, like where did all this stuff go? But it's like they're making it better, and then you bring back your collaboration, then you end up being really proud of what it became. But it's kind of like that in the editing process now, because you'll get it,
lose a lot, and you're like, wait,
that was so funny, or why didn't that make it in? But like, it's for the whole show, to be a good episode. And it's been fun to see how it's all come together. But like last night we were watching something, and I was like, oh, they didn't put that in there. And I like told Christian what I said. He's like, oh, that's hilarious. I wish they put that in there. So there's some things you see and you're like, oh, that was funny, or you feel like it was funnier or whatever. But it's so fun, like, to see all these things, that we've been doing on camera. And I really think families are going to relate a lot. I think we've said this since the beginning. We hope that you watch it and you see yourself in it. You see your siblings in it, your parents in it, your grandparents in it, or maybe it reminds you of your grandparents. Like, I feel like it's going to be such a good show for families to watch together and kind of relate to different ones of us, because everyone has that one super competitive person in their family, or, the kid who is losing it, and the mom's like, okay, well, here we are. Like, it's just, it's real life.
Yeah.
It's real life.
I saw the question about, is there going to be faith in it? And I said this the first time around, and this time around, it's like, it's who we are. It's a part, it affects everything we do in life. Faith for us is not just like what we do on Sunday morning. It's like, it's who we are. It's how we relate as family. It's how we relate as parents and husbands and wives and employers and employees and all that. So yes, it's definitely faith is a part of it. And, we do have the prayers at the end, just like we did the first time around, because it's what we do when we get around the dinner table. And there'll be some elements of seeing some of what you do with Live Original and all that too. So I think that's going to be really special.
I had to pull up my Bible because I read this the other day, and I was like, that is so good, because I was doing an interview the other day. We've been doing a lot of press lately, and someone said, is your faith going to be an aspect that you show on the show? And I was like, absolutely. Like, that's not something that we choose to show or not show. It's who we are. We're always going to be that way. So it's always going to be a part of it. And she's like, oh, that's really cool. Like, that y'all live like that. And I was reading this, and I was like, man, this is so how I feel about when it comes to like faith, if you're going to show it in this aspect of your life or not show it in this aspect of your life, and how that's really like such an interesting thing that we even talk like that at this day as believers, because
Yeah.
back in the early church, you would have never, if you were a believer, it wouldn't have been like, are you going to share this or are you not? Yes, you're going to share it. It radically changed your life. And in Acts 4, this is after, the Spirit just fell in the church and Peter and John are going out and about, and they just healed a man, like literally healed a man that had been lame for like 40 years or whatever. And everyone is just amazed that this man is healed. Well, then the people are mad that they're healing people and saying about the resurrection of Jesus. And so they arrest Peter and John, and they're basically saying like, you can't talk about Jesus anymore. Like you got to stop that. That's not cool. And anyways, they keep talking about it. They say, rulers, then Peter, filled with the Spirit, said to them, rulers of the people and elders, if we are being examined today concerning a good deed done to a crippled man, by what means has this man been healed? Let it be known to all of you and to the people of Israel, but that this was by the name of Jesus Christ, who was crucified, whom God raised from the dead. By him, this man is standing before you well. This Jesus, he goes on to talk about more about Jesus. Then it says, now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, they perceived that they were uneducated men, common men, and they were astonished. And they recognized that they had been with Jesus, which I love that, because they're not supposed to be talking about this. And I love how it says when they noticed the men were uneducated and common, but they had been filled with the Spirit because of their boldness. That's what made them astonished. It wasn't that a man just got healed who was crippled and now can walk. It was their boldness and their faith, and that they were just uncommon men. Then it goes on to say, but seeing the man who was healed standing beside them, they had nothing to say in opposition. Like, what else could they say? Well, they commanded them to leave the council and said to one another, what shall we do to these men? For that was a notable sign that has been performed through them, and it's evident to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. We can't deny it. But in order that it may spread no further, let us warn them not to speak any more in this name. So they called them and charged them not to speak or teach in the name of Jesus. This is the verse I was getting to. But Peter and John answered them, whether it is right in the sight of God to listen to you rather than to God, you must judge. Verse 20, for we cannot but speak of what we have seen and what we have heard. And I was like, man, I think that's so the answer to that question. Like, are you going to share your faith? We cannot but speak of what we have seen and heard. We can't but live what we have radically been transformed by. And that doesn't mean we're preaching on the show, and that doesn't mean that that's what the whole show is about, but it's who we are. And if we are who we are on the show, then we're people of faith. And I think that that's just authentically the most true thing about us, so it bleeds into everything we do. And I love reading that, because I was like, man, that's it right there. We cannot but speak of it. Yeah,
that's good. I was going to say Matthew 7, Jesus is talking, and he says that, that you will recognize his disciples by their fruits. And I think if we had a show and there was just a prayer at the end, but there was no fruit, then I think it would just be like faith adjacent, right? But what makes it, but what makes it faith centered is not just that there's a prayer at the end, but that you can watch the whole episode and you see fruit, you see love, you see serving one another, you see joy, you see family and forgiveness and reconciliation and all those things. So I think the faith-centered aspect, that's, you can watch something that's relatable, and that, you see disciples like what Jesus talks about that are bearing fruit, and they're trying to live authentic lives. So the prayer is incredible, and I think it's going to bring so many people together. But that necessarily is not what makes it faith-centered. It's that we all are trying to live like disciples and
transformed by the Spirit.
Yeah,
God. Great. It's so good. Well, I cannot wait for y'all to see the show. We can't wait for you guys to watch it together, to share, and see your comments. I know we talked about social media comments, and we are not motivated by haters, but we are motivated by love. We are motivated by encouragement. We hope you love it. We hope you'll share that you love it. And, like we said, we don't know if this is going to last 2 seasons or 5 seasons, or Dynasty was how many seasons? 11. And really that has everything to do with if you guys watch it, if you guys love it. That's such a huge aspect of this, and that shows A&E and our team that they want more of this kind of content. And so we just so encourage you to watch it on June 1st on the premiere. Every single viewer means so much to us and our family, and we hope you'll share it on social media with us. We can't wait to see. This has been a long time coming, and we can't wait to share it with you guys. So June 1st, it is this Sunday at 8 o'clock Central Time on A&E, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts.